everything up. Telemetry, yeah, it's qualifying, so we'll need lap data. Of course, a full track map as well. It doesn't look particularly pretty. That field of cars actually has some pretty nice competitors in it, so this actually should be a bit more interesting than what it appears to be. And let's see if I can't find the Coscoms account. There it is. There, I believe. And I can hear myself. Fantastic. So everything is working as it should be. Well then, if that's the case, hello and welcome everybody to a little bit of post-season content here on F1 2020. It's not much, it's just a little bit to fill in the time between F1 2020 and the newly coming F1 2021, the hotly anticipated game developed by Codemasters, published by EA. We know and we've heard all the little stuff about that, people making memes about the microtransactions and whatnot, but still, it's a hotly anticipated game. Definitely looking forward to it. I'm praying that it's a far more stable game than this turned out to be, but in the meanwhile, we're just doing a little bit of post-season content. What they've decided to do is to play around with the 2010 season Formula 1 cars. The track of choice, clearly, as you can see, is Spa-Francorchamps. A 7-kilometer, 4.35 mile, 19-turn racetrack. It's one of the most legendary circuits in the world. And the 2010 season was quite a legendary season. It's quite an underrated one at that. It was hotly contested. Ultimately resulted in Sebastian Vettel taking the World Drivers' Championship, never leading the championship until the final round. It's quite a remarkable achievement. We had several drivers hotly contested for the title. I think Fernando Alonso was a hot favourite at the time. But Seb put in an absolute blinder at Abu Dhabi, which resulted in him taking the World Drivers' Championship. But in the 2010 season here at Spa, qualifying went in favour of Mark Webber, if I remember correctly. He took pole position here. Only just though. It was quite a hotly contested qualifying session. This is one of the troubles with using the classic cars. It's very difficult to work out who's where on track, because they're all grey dots on the racetrack. It's going to be a bit difficult. But Mark ultimately didn't end up winning the race. That would go to Lewis Hamilton, who would lead every single lap of the 44-lap race here at Belgium. Then it was followed up by Mark Webber, finishing in second place, and Robert Kubica, driving for Renault, finishing in third place, completing the podium. It would be the first time in Lewis's career that he would win the Belgian Grand Prix. He would win several more over the course of his career, but it was his first in 2010. And it's the reason why a lot of people are in the Mercedes McLaren MP4-25. It seems to be the best car around here. A couple of people in the Red Bulls. I saw Persasson in the Ferrari, the F10 Ferrari, driven by Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa. But no, a lot of people in this, the MP4-25, quite some car, driven by two world champions, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button. Speaking of which, the new icons that are coming out for F1 2021 in the deluxe edition anyway, for the My Team career mode. Three of them are quite obvious, with Michael, Alain and Ayrton. Then Nico Rosberg and Jenson Button. It's quite interesting to see they included those, but it makes sense as they have fairly recent models of the characters from the F1 2016 game. It's the same with Michael, Ayrton and Alain, having models from F1 2019 with the Legends Edition, and of course with the Schumacher Edition in F1 2020. Then we have Felipe Massa, which I sort of half guessed with Felipe, because You know, he's a very successful racing driver. His last model was created back in F1 2017, so they got a fairly recent copy of him. He's pretty fair to add as an icon for the My Team Career Mode. David Coulthard, though, is completely out of left field. Did not expect DC to be an icon as Kitten Teta puts his McLaren into the wall. But, yeah, David Coulthard did not expect that at all. It's quite a surprise to see DC included in the game. I love it, though. David, one of the more successful drivers to have never won a World Drivers' Championship. Perhaps in a My Team Career Mode, somebody can try and give him that World Drivers' crown. Quite interesting to see. I'm hoping they also give him his iconic Scottish helmet. I'm assuming they would. Been some time since we've seen a Scotsman line up on the grid in a Formula 1 race. And there, plenty to look forward to with F1 2021. Just hoping the game isn't busted. Like this was when on release. This game was horribly busted on release. With the communicating with online servers glitch, but that was a lot of fun. But and the game still continues to be somewhat broken even to this day, several months into its life cycle. So I can just pray that F1 2021 would just be a pretty solid game and not broken for all buggery. At our field of 8 drivers, we've got 5 of them setting times already. Freddie, I was just about to say his real name. I've seen Fred Head in another league where we actually pronounce their real names. Freddie is quite a competitive driver, and he's very, very quick as well, showing his prowess at the moment, sitting at the top of the table with a 1 minute 46.991. Bersey in second place with a 47.139, currently 2/10 off Freddie, sitting on pole position. 2 drivers yet to set a time, Passassin and Coolhands Carter. Carter in the F10, making his way around turn 13, then 14. This will end the second sector, then begin the third. Only 2 drivers in the Ferraris, unfortunately. Only Passassin and Carter. And I think I know one of the drivers is definitely in the Red Bull, but I can't remember who it was. Hang on, we'll see if we can't find them. Oh, it's VTEC. There we go. So one driver at least in the RB6, the championship winning RB6 with the sort of bow tie steering wheel. But a lot of drivers in the McLaren. A lot of drivers in the McLaren. So we got 2 drivers in the Ferrari, at least 1 in the Red Bull. That means 5 drivers in the McLaren. Being Fred, Bersey, Arva, Kitten Petter is as well. Not sure about Wingett. We'll have to see what he's in when he comes out of the pits. Arba's now jumped to the top of the table with a 146.697. Just... ooh, is that under or over 3/10 clear? As Passassin makes a bit of an error there. Give me a minute? Just under 3/10 clear of pole position. Is the stream having trouble? Why, what's up with the stream? Give me a minute. Ugh. Ow. What, is it the audio? Because I know I had audio problems, well, at least on a YouTube race, I know I had audio problems at one point. Anyway, the audio sounds alright from my end at least. But if there is something wrong, please tell me about it, I'll see if I can rectify it. Meanwhile, isn't that some soundtrack we haven't listened to this some time? A V8 engine Oh, hello. And that's a Ferrari spinning round. That must be Carter. Assassin on a flying lap. It's quite a nice soundtrack to listen to. Those V8 engines. Oh, it can do that sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes the picture can freeze every now and then. It's just my shitty internet connection at times. It can go from pretty okay and then it just drops off. And then it goes back to pretty okay again. Then it drops off. I have little to no control over that. Assassin having little control over his car coming through the two Stavilo curves. Oh, isn't that just a lovely noise to hear? It's a far better soundtrack than what the V6 engines develop. It's an amazing soundtrack. Hearing a V8 engine rev up towards 18,000 RPM. Consider this, the fact that these cars weren't allowed to refuel. They can get through an entire Grand Prix, 300 kilometers worth of racing, with no refueling, just having 100 kilograms of fuel, and having an engine rev up to 18,000 RPM, and they can get through an entire race. To me, that's rather astonishing. It sort of shows you the level of technology even back then. Ooh, in this year, in 2010, where they could get an entire fuel tank of fuel through an entire race with an engine revving that high, developing such horsepower. I mean, here in Australia, following V8 supercars, those things don't get anywhere near the same amount of fuel efficiency as these things do. Oh, and they don't sound anywhere near as good as these as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are fantastic sounding engines! These are just quite special to listen to! Deary me, that was close. One of the McLarens almost T-boned Assassin there. That must have been Freddie. He's making his way through the third sector. We just have a little over 5 minutes left. He's going to be ending a flying lap. Current personal best, a 1 minute 46.991. See if he can improve by 3/10 and retake pole position. He's making his way through the bus stop now. Second gear, third, fourth, up to the line. He does a 46 flat, improves by almost a second, and retakes pole. Brand new iPhone 12. Jesus Christ, kiddo. Where'd you get the money to do that? Huh? How many banks did you rob in order to get that, bro? Or is it even worse? See if we can't find a lap to watch, a good lap to watch. Well, Carter's about to begin a flying lap. I just want to listen to the soundtrack a bit more of a course of a lap here. Well, he's warming up his tyres, look. Heading through Blanchimont. Slows the car up. He does have someone behind him. Spursy, who's on a flying lap. So just under 4 minutes left. Watch Carter do a flying lap. Somewhat unorthodox line exiting the bus stop chicane. It's only to maximise the straight line speed down the pit straight. Rounding La Source. Tell you what, give me a minute. Let's take a listen. I won't say a word, just listen. Isn't that something? That was 10 years ago. That soundtrack, 10 years. It doesn't feel like 10 years ago though. And just a nice little tidbit there, listening to the engines roar. That's incidence preferences, audio settings. We'll just turn it down a smidgen. Not too much though. So we just got over a little under a minute and a half left in the session, so drivers are preparing for their final flying laps. The target to beat is Fredhead with a 1 minute 46 flat. Arba's the closest at the moment with a 46.7. Need to improve by a little under 7/10 to try and take pole position away from Freddy. Burzy, I think he's pulled out of a flying lap. Passassin on one, up by 10th. Oh dear, the revving glitch is still found in these cars, sliding around turn 6 and turn 7. Oh dear. Good to see that this is still a thing. Carter has invalidated. He went 5th quickest, by the way, with a 47.2, and you're not going quicker by doing that. And he was actually up by quite a bit, coming to the end of the second sector. Up through Eau Rouge and Radion, 7th gear. Oh. Sector 1 says, up by a little over a 10th and a half in the first sector. Down the hill towards turn 8. You have to be a bit careful here because of the slight amount of negative camber. Wants to push you away from the racing line. Through No Name and down the hill towards Stavolo. Now this, Stavolo to Puon. Oh, my corner's mixed up. Very nice indeed. Carter's retired in the pits, so the two Ferraris are starting 4th and 5th. Rounding turn 13 towards 14. This will complete the second sector. Improves by a little over 4/10. He's heading in the right direction, but he needs to find a significant amount of time in this third sector. Rounding Blanchimont, 7th gear, 307 kilometers per hour. Through the bus stop chicane, 2nd gear. Keeps it in 2nd. Up to the line. Sets a 46.1. A great lap time, but just missing out on pole position by 0.06 of a second. But Freddy, he's lost a little bit of time in the second sector, but he's still ahead overall on his previous best. Looking at a high 45 if he can nail this final sector. Still can't get over the noise, that's fantastic. Through the chicane. Up to the line. Fred will set a 46.0. I think he actually didn't improve there. But he's still starting on pole position. No, he didn't improve. Look at that. 600 separating the top two. Burzy in P3, making it a Canadian 1-2-3. Could have been a Canadian 1-2-3-4 if Carter was able to complete his final flying lap. Passassin will start from 4th place in the other Ferrari. Then it's Kittenpetter, VTEC and Wingett will round out the field. The two Red Bulls starting in P7 and 8. So the McLaren showing itself to be the dominant car around here at Spa. Hopefully we'll see an interesting race. Well, from qualifying, Arba and Fred are quite close in terms of pace, so hopefully they'll put on a bit of a show for us. Although the weather can toss a spanner into the works. Oh, well, great. It's raining here at Spa. Something that the drivers will have to deal with. Now, I'm not sure, because during this time there was the intermediate and full wet tyre, if I remember. I wonder if the drivers are allowed to use them, because I'm pretty sure with the classic car, they only have the dry tyre and the wet tyre available to you. But during this era, I'm pretty sure there was an intermediate tyre. Of course, they weren't using Pirellis at the time. That would be a year after, during 2010. That was the last year for Bridgestone as being the official tyre supplier for Formula 1. Where they had the option and the prime tyre. Oh, those are words we haven't heard in some time in the Formula 1 world. Only two compounds available, a softer compound and a harder compound. But yes, using the Bridgestone tyre, but of course it's not branded on the tyres themselves, probably due to licensing reasons. Oh, we're still loading up to the session though. Seriously, do we have a lobby glitch with only 8 people? You can't be serious. Oh no, there we go. This driver's choosing... Ooh, I wonder if Parc Ferme is turned on or not. No, it's just drivers took some time choosing their setup. Thank goodness. Rightio. Because if Parc Ferme isn't turned on, you can change your setup from a dry setup, as you would find it qualifying because it was dry, to a wet setup. Now let's have a look at the geese. Are those full wet tyres? Those don't even look wet. Are they slick? I can't even tell. Quite difficult to see all the grooves. I think there are grooves on the tyre. It's just very difficult to see. That's a bit embarrassing. Ooh, can we... Oh, I should have took the opportunity while the Ferrari was stopped. Oh, hang on. Ah, bugger. Just gonna look at Kit and Petter. Oh well, we're gonna have to wait until everyone lines up on the grid then to get a closer look at the tyre. Very difficult to see any of the grooves. Oh no, there we go. I completely forgot about the tyre details. So they are wet, it's just very difficult to see all the grooves. It's only an 8-car field in wet conditions. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we saw on the formation lap something might go wrong, but... Hopefully these fellas will enjoy themselves, and hopefully we see some good, entertaining stuff as well. No stop. Yeah, I figured as much. Probably be the way to go if it continues to rain all the way through the race. And I wonder, like, we talk about when we practice. We don't often practice in the wet conditions, we just drive in the dry, and if it rains, well, we just sort of adapt to it. I wonder what the wet's going to be like in these things. I mean, we don't drive them at all. I know some drivers were practicing earlier just to try and get the feel for the car. I wonder how many of them practice in the wet. I don't think there'll be many of them. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that groove tyre. Now, I think with the actual Bridgestone tyre, right in the middle, that middle groove, there should have been this sort of turquoise green sort of looking band that went around the tyre. That identified it as a full wet, if I recall. No, sorry, that identified it as an intermediate. If it had no additional markings other than Bridgestone markings, it was a wet tyre. But here we go for our little race here at Spa. We are underway. No one spins out at the line. That's a really important thing, though. That was very close there. Oh, dearie me. I believe that was Arba off the line. No, sorry, Freddy off the line. Having a big moment there. Same with Assassin in the Ferrari. Just trying to gather some sort of... Oh my goodness me! That is a massive accident! Wingers and Kitten Petter crash on the GT pit straight, and we have a safety car already. A field of 8 cars, and we have a safety car. And astonishingly, no one's out. Oh my goodness me. Oh, and there's Kitten Petter using the pit exit on the GT endurance layout. Oh my goodness me. Like Tata and Wingit coming together. Fortunately, they're both in the race still, but they're going to have to make a pit stop to get the wings repaired as Kitten Petter destroys the 50-meter board coming into Lake Holm. How about that? Even with a field of 8 cars, we get a safety car. Did not see that coming. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh. Well, the drivers, well, none of them need to pit, really. There's no benefit to doing so. So, I guess we just hit pause for a little bit longer. Perhaps talk a bit more about F1 2021. Because we're getting close to release, aren't we? It's releasing in July. I think July 16th, if I recall. And there's only been 2 things really talked about with the game from Codemasters themselves. Recently with the Deluxe Edition and the My Team career mode. That's been talked about by them. They released a video recently about it, showcasing the drivers that are going to be given to us in the Deluxe Edition. And of course their announcement trailer showing off their new Breaking Point career mode, which is a story-based career mode. It hasn't been in Formula 1 since forever. I don't think there's ever been a story-based career mode in a Formula 1 game that I can recall. So it will be a slightly fresh thing to see as the drivers bunch up behind the safety car. Wingit and Kitten Petter will get their front wings changed. But yeah, it's slightly worrying not to see any sort of gameplay as of yet, but there's still plenty of time for them to show us a sort of gameplay trailer for F1 2021. But yeah, other than the announcement trailer showcasing Breaking Point and the Deluxe Edition showcase with the My Team career mode, really not much to go off with F1 2021, unfortunately. Because we also know that certain additions to the 2021 season in terms of Portimao, Imola and Jeddah, which will be racing at the end of the actual 2021 season, they'll be post-release DLC. It'll be free DLC. Oh, as VTech gets a drive-through for falling too far back. I haven't seen that penalty in forever. I do remember this penalty. Like, you get this red prompt that pops up at the top of the screen telling you you're falling too far back. No wonder why. He's got a completely smashed front wing. Now that will really hurt his race, because not only does he have to stop to get that wing replaced, he won't be able to serve the drive-thru until we get back under green flag racing. Poor fella, he's going to lose so much time. Hopefully Winger and... Oh, Kitten Petter's got more damage. Oh dear. Driver's really having a hard time with the wet conditions, it seems. No, it's quite worrying to see these guys struggle so much. Understandable, we never drive these cars and we're in the wet, so Not going to be easy. And also another thing probably talk about as well, coming this weekend, the famous Monaco Grand Prix, the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix. It's been some time, 24 months since we've had one on a Formula 1 calendar. Obviously during 2020 we couldn't have it due to COVID restrictions, but now it's back. It's a hotly anticipated Grand Prix. I mean, you still get the people who say, Monaco, it's a bad racetrack, blah blah blah. It's a very historically significant race. It's a race that everyone wants to win. And it'll be a fantastic qualifying spectacle as well. Oh, wing it! Oh. Probably the best qualifying spectacle in the Formula 1 season. It's always fantastic to watch. Oh, an end plate flying off. Oh dear. Freddy, a 5-second penalty, severe collision with Passassin. So that was Passassin's front wing. That wasn't Carter's, that was Passassin's. Yeah, Carter's looks good. Let's have a look at Passassin's. Yes, he's got a missing end plate as well as other elements on that front wing. So he'll have to come in and get that replaced. Oh my goodness. Oh. That is amazing. Oh, dearie me. Almost dropped that. Oh. We're having collisions under safety. Oh. Oh dear. Yeah, no. Oh, and the Indianapolis 500 as well. That's this weekend as well. Monaco and Indy happen at the same time. So we've got two big motorsport spectacles to watch over the course of the weekend. Both of them should be... Oh, sorry, next weekend is the Indy 500. Not this weekend. This weekend it is qualifying, no? The race itself is the following weekend, during the on the 30th of May. So, but I'm pretty sure qualifying is this weekend, if I remember. We're going to be doing another lap on the safety. Wow, dude, gee whiz. Assassin sliding into the pits. Dear me. See how long this takes. Obviously the 5-second penalty being served. Yeah, they didn't make the models for the pit crews sort of specially made for these cars, did they? As VTech retires from the session, so amazingly, even with a field of 8, someone's retired. Oh. So surely we'll be back on the green flag racing at the end of this lap. And it looks like the rain isn't letting up either. This might be quite a long race. So one Red Bull down, one Red Bull left. There's still 2 Ferraris in the race. The 4 McLarens looking strong as ever. I have to say as well, that McLaren livery, one of the best, if not the best, livery of the modern era of Formula 1. It's so simple but stunning looking livery, I have to say. Be a sponsor and a colour that I would really love to come back into the world of Formula 1. In fact, a lot of the liveries from 2010 weren't half bad. Ferrari one doesn't look too shabby, but you know, in typical Ferrari style, it's a red car with stickers on it. But it doesn't look too bad, as the safety car is indeed in this lap. Of course, the Red Bull liveries, when they weren't just copy-paste every single year. I'd say the 2010 livery is one of my favourite Red Bull liveries that they've ever made. I do somewhat like as well. I think it was 2013 they had that slightly purple looking design. It's also magnificent. So the safety car is in. Should be back on the green flag racing now. Arba will control the field. He'll decide when to go. Has he gone? I think he has. He's still getting temperature into his tyres. Oh, his what? He's crashed out. Possession has crashed out before Blanchimont. There's his dot there. It's stricken on the racetrack. Spent all that time on the safety car and he's chucked it all the way on the restart. We're back on the green flag racing. We've gone down to 6 cars and we've only done 5 laps. Deary me. Arba has made a pretty solid restart. Freddie sliding up through Radion and heading on to the Kemmel Straight. 7/10 behind. Not close enough to utilise the full power of the slipstream. Bersey overtakes Wingett for 4th place. Oh, as Carter goes off track. Bersey sliding round. Wingett gets back past, only just. Kittenpetter as well sliding about. Oh, and he's still trying to control the car. Deary me. Just needs to settle down. Not drive the car too hard in these conditions. You don't have anywhere near as much downforce compared to the F1 2020 car. So have to be very incredibly careful. Arba is under quite a bit of pressure here, heading out of Pouhon towards turns 12 and 13. Tiptoeing their way through here. Carter is closing up as well in the Ferrari. Oh, and Kittenpetter has spun around. Oh dear. Oh, turn 13. He gets it going though. Oh, he gets it going. Well, I have to say now, I've commentated with less than this, but with the 2 cars retiring, this is the smallest field I've ever commentated for. Smallest I've commentated for is 7. This now breaks it. We still have drivers close at the front of the field. No one's pulling away just yet. Oh, Freddie really demonstrates how hard these cars are to drive in these conditions. Have to be so incredibly careful. Tiptoeing their way over Radion. Gap is less than a second between Carter and Fred. Heading round turn 5, the beginning of Lake Con. 6, gentle, very gentle with the car. Sliding, catches it. Kittenpetter's on dry tyres. Oh, and Bersey is spun out into the wall at Lake Con. Oh, dearie me. Perhaps I should have defaulted the weather to dry. I think that might have been a smarter choice. Kittenpetter on said dry tyre. See what it's like. Very slow. Oh, caught it. Very slow indeed. He's actually closing up on Bersey because of his sheer amount of wing damage. And it stopped raining here at Spa. Perhaps Kittenpetter has done a big brain decision here, putting on a slick set of tyres. Still needs to keep control of the car. Arba still leading the way. Fred closing up. Carter falling back, but Judging by the pace of these guys, these gaps are going to be continuously fluctuating as Kitten Petter brings up some yellow flags. Freddie sets the fastest lap as well at 2 minute 3.257. Down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Gap is 1.3 seconds. They head up and over the hill onto the Kemmel Straight. There'll be subtle differences in terms of downforce between the cars. Between Arba and Fred, pretty close in terms of how much downforce they're generating, how much drag they're generating, because neither driver gained or lost time down the long straight. They're staying at about 1.3 seconds apart. Carter just over a second behind Freddie. Top three maintaining pace as Kitten Petter retires in the pits. Oh dear. There's on the dry tyre though. He doesn't appear to be too bad. The car looks under control when it exited Radion. Down to 5. Will we see a 96 Monaco happen? Will we see only 3 cars, well rather 3 cars finish, but 4 cars classified? Thursday, maybe not. Maybe those slick tyres weren't quite the right choice. Poor Kitten Petter. And into the pits they go. So Arbo and Freddie and Carter follows as well. So I'm guessing it's the time to get off these wet weather tyres, put on the slicks. Wing It is the same as well in 4th place. The remaining Red Bull. Yeah, those are dry tyres being put on. Oh, that's a great release there by Ferrari. Out of the pit lane goes Wing It. Right. So we got 15 laps to go. Not sure what the tyre life for these compound tyres would be. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not sure whether or not they can make it to the end of the race. And of course, Freddie, I completely forgot the 5-second penalty he got for that severe collision with Passassin. It's put him behind Carter, a fair way behind Arbar as well. But Freddie's closing in on Carter. The gap is closed from 3.9 to 3.6 seconds. Rounding no-name. Gap between first and second has stayed relatively the same as well. Actually, no, hang on a minute. What's happened to Arbar? He's got significant wing damage on the right-hand side. How did he do that? Through Puon? He must have... No, he had to have done it through no-name, running wide into the wall, getting wing damage. That's a more logical reason. Now Carter's in the hot seat. Oh, never mind! He doesn't want the lead. Oh dear. He's had a massive incident there at turn 15. Now Fred, after serving a 5-second penalty in the pit lane, he's looking like he's going to take the lead of the race, because I think Arbar's probably... No, he's staying out. He's going to fight on with the wing damage. Purple in the 3rd sector, as you'd expect. Carter pitting in, the sole remaining Ferrari. And he comes, front wing change, new tyres. Away he goes out of the pit box. Oh, dearie me. Now Bersey's in with a shot to finish higher than 5th as he sets fastest lap with a 2-minute 1.497. It's actually going to be pretty close between these two. Gap of 1.2, 1 second, now under a second. Heading on to the Camel Straight towards Les Combes. Fairly close here. Not close enough to attack though. Loses a fair amount of ground to Carter as well, stuck in the dirty air. Gap is now starting to increase between the two. Rather amazingly at the front as well, Arba is fighting on quite well even with the damaged front wing. The gap is about 3.8 seconds. You can see he's missing an end plate on the right hand side. But he's still got about a 4-second gap to Fred behind. Fred in turn has what appears to be a fairly complete front wing. Doesn't have any damage. Currently struggling to catch up. Arba sets a new fastest lap. I don't believe Freddie beat it. Oh no, he did. Just a 57.2. So look at that, 1/10 of a second. Actually, it's less than that. It's more like 0.08 of a second between Arba and Fred. Considering Arba's got damage, that is some effort there from Arba. Look at that. Look how far he pulls away on the straight. The gap of 4.5 seconds. There's Arba's car in the corner of shot. See where Bersey and Carter are. Sitting in the slipstream, Bersey. Closing in on the Ferrari. No DRS or ERS to help you out here. You have to overtake the old-fashioned way. Using slipstream and being very bloody brave on the brakes. Gap is starting to close up between Arba and Fred. Now it's 3.3. That revving glitch is horrible. That's a bit better. Rounding Blanchimont. Gap closes up a bit more. 3.2 seconds. Now through the bus stop chicane. Nice and gently through. Arba, new fastest lap at 55.8. Freddie does a 54.8. He's a second quicker. Now that front wing damage is starting to take effect on Arba's car. Oh, a bit sideways there for Freddie though. Demonstrating that Freddie is pushing hard to try and catch up. Great noise, fantastic noise. Pinging off the limiter at 305 kilometers an hour, indicated there on the steering wheel. So Lecom in third gear, keeps it in third. Short shifts to fourth, fifth. Round turn 8. Second gear hugs the inside. Short shifts to third. Round no name. Turn 9 down the hill. Now towards Pouhon. Quite a notorious corner in this game. Cannot touch the inside curve. It's incredibly deadly. Rounding turn 12. Then turn 13. Carter, a 3-second time penalty. Bersey does the same as well. Now, considering where those two drivers are on the track map, they were exiting Les Combes, so both of them must have run wide. That's how they gathered the warnings there. Purple to the second sector, Freddie. Gap closes up more to 1.5 seconds. into the bus stop chicane. Goes down the gears into second. Nice and gentle with the car. New fastest lap for both drivers. 53.1 there from Fred. He is flying. .2 seconds heading towards Rouge and Radillon. So we'll close up a bit more as Freddie has more downforce. But because of the damaged front wing, I think Arba will be quicker in a straight line. 304, 305. Not by much. Now Freddie has the hard task of trying to pass his rival. As I say, you don't have any DRS to help you out. Oh, that's a penalty as well. 3 seconds, multiple warnings. Cutting too much there at No Name. Rounding Pouon. Turn 12. Turn 13. Gap closes up some more to 0.6 of a second. Rounding the second stabilo. This is the third sector. There's only one critical braking zone in this sector. That's over at the bus stop chicane. Sitting in the slipstream. Coming towards said chicane. Slams on the brakes at the 100 meter board down to second. Oh, a bit oversteery there at the beginning of the bus stop, but kept it well under control. Lap 13 has begun of 22 here at Spa. Freddie setting fastest lap of 52 flat. Now Arba, he's got to try and transform himself into the widest McLaren Freddie has ever seen. It's going to be difficult to keep him at bay. Not impossible, just very incredibly difficult. It's amazing, isn't it? Even though Arba has wing damage, with the 2020 cars, if this was the same scenario, Arba would have been eaten alive several laps ago. Now, he's managed to fight on with that wing damage for some time. It's quite a remarkable feat. Heading towards turns 12 and 13. Arba will be hurting through these corners. He just doesn't have the downforce. Oh, but Freddie pushing a little bit too hard, a bit too eager there at the exit of 13. Rounding turn 15 now. Heading towards Blanchimont. Sitting in the slipstream. What can he do here? Probably nothing. Unless he's going to do a big send on the brakes here at the bus stop chicane. He looks. Doesn't commit to the move. Locking up a little bit as well. There's a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. A new fastest lap for Fred. 50.9. What does Fred do here? All he can do is sit in the slipstream and wait. Wait for the right time to strike. Up the hill, over the crest at Radillon, and onto the Kemmel Straight. 4/10. Can't close up anymore, they're reaching peak speed. Carter sets a new fastest lap with a 50.5. Down in 4th place, he's trying to close up and wing it, try and take that 3rd place away from the Red Bull driver. Down the hill, around turn 8 again. Round No Name. Gap is still about half a second. This is where Freddie will close up quite a bit. through turns 12 and 13. Gap is 3/10. He's close. A bit of a wiggle. Sector 2 complete. Now into the third and final sector. He is close. I think this is where Freddie will look to make the move at the bus stop chicane. Oh, but it's just that little bit too quick, heading out of the hairpin at turn 1. Not only that, but they can't actually change their gearbox ratios, which I think was a thing in F1 2010, during the 2010 season. I'm pretty sure you could change gear ratios, so unfortunately in this game they are fixed, so you can't do anything. Like, everyone everyone hits peak speed and they can't really do anything about it. That is R-Bar's saving grace at the moment. Carter setting new fastest laps at 1 minute 49.249. He's now 10.8 seconds behind Wingett. He needs to keep pushing if he wants to challenge the third, as R-Bar gets a penalty. The two leaders are now back on even ground. Oh, a bit of a wiggle there from R-Bar. The gap closes up some more, heading towards Pouon. Running wide a bit there as well. That might have been a warning. Through turns 12 and 13. This will complete the second sector. He is close, Freddie. Sitting in the slipstream, he is very close. He's looking. He'll have the inside line for Blanchimont. Can R-Bar hang it around? They make contact! Freddie has damage now. A damaged front wing. They make contact at Blanchimont. And into the pits goes Freddie. Oh, dear me, he smashes into the pit wall on the outside. How about that? It's not over. And Wingett now in a position to take second place. Oh, dearie me. He has a moment there. He's now in second. Freddie drops to third. Will he drop any more positions? Here comes Carter, setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Rounding La Source. He will take third away from Fred. Fredhead will drop to fourth place. He's in the slipstream. With a complete front wing. With fresh tyres. Here we go into Lecom. Carter defends. Round the outside goes Freddie. They give each other the space. Rounding turn 7. Down the hill towards 8. They're still side by side. Carter has the inside line. Fred will try and hang it there and keep the inside line for turn 9. He sends it. He gets the position into third place. But Carter's not going to give up. He's been setting fastest lap after fastest lap. And his tyres are up to temperature as well. Not so much with Fred. Can the Ferrari driver catch back up? Oh, that's a mistake though. A little wiggle there through turn 12. It cost him through 13. It's dropped about 0.3 of a second there. Fred, he'll be in no mood to muck around either. He's trying to close the gap and retake second. After he and R-Bar made contact at this very corner. Blanchimont. You always have to give the space, Bottom. Always the space. Oh! Oh, and R-Bar's pitting. A new front wing going on to that McLaren. And out of the pits he comes. So that makes Wingett our race leader in the Red Bull with 6 laps to go. Suddenly the field's bunched back up again. It looked like a straight up dogfight between Arbar and Fred. That's now changed. Wingett just needs to stay calm and remain consistent. Fred on the charge, same with Carter. Both drivers can sniff a good result here, a potential race win even. Down the hill, around Puon. That closes up a little bit between Fred and Arbar, not a lot, and a penalty for Fred as well. 3 seconds there, added to his total. Now has 6 seconds next to his name, running wide as well, pushing hard to try and catch up. Arbar is flying on those fresh tyres, closing at a rapid rate of knots. Heading towards the bus stop chicane, the gap is just over a second. It's now under a second. And where will Arbar look to make the move? Potential spot is at turn 5, the beginning of Les Combes, as Freddie sets fastest lap. So Freddie is flying. Up over Radion. Wingett leading the way. What can the Rebel driver do? Not a lot. Here comes Arbar. Retakes the lead with 5 laps to go. Wingett right behind his gearbox. Can't quite find a way past just yet. Now Arbar in the clear air, starting to pull away. Gap of about half a second between P1 and 2. Gap is closing up between P2 and 3. Now it's 2.5 seconds. Oh, I still can't get over how great they sound. Wingett's not letting go here. He's still there or thereabouts. This might not have the same straight line speed as the McLaren. You can see here, heading towards Blanchimont, the gap is starting to open up rather significantly. So peak speed 307, 295 for the Red Bull. He is 12 kilometers an hour slower in a straight line, Wingett, and that is costing him dearly on a racetrack that revolves a lot around speed. Freddie setting fastest laps, trying desperately to catch up to our race leader. Needs to get by Wingett first. Through Eau Rouge, up and over the crest at Radion. Gap closes up. It will close up significantly here. Spigo climbs up to over 305 kilometers an hour. Look at the gap closed between the McLaren and the Red Bull on the straight. Quite a serious pace difference between the two cars. Oh, locking up through turn 8. But this is where the Red Bull will shine. Through the second sector, running wide. That will be a warning for sure. Closes up Freddie, coming to turn 12, shows the nose, can't go for a move, not anywhere near close enough. Round turn 14, and into turn 15. Bursey a penalty down in 5th place. Car revving out. 7th gear, round Blanchimont. What does Wingett do here? Tries to defend the inside line for the bus stop chicane. Goes deep on the brakes. They're side by side. They give each other plenty of room. Oh, very close. They're still side by side, heading towards turn 1. Wingett is brave. He keeps it on the inside. Freddie gives them space. They make contact, wheel to wheel. And Freddie comes out on top. With 3 laps to go, he takes 2nd place. He now needs to build a margin over Wingett if he wants to keep it. But I'm sure that's not his goal. His goal is to catch up to Arbar and try and pass him. And there's Carter, not too far behind as well. Down the hill. Carter within a second of the Red Bull. Arbar a penalty. It's not over just yet. Freddie a penalty. He now has 9 seconds. Wingett now has 6 seconds. Who's going to take the win here? I think it will be Arbar. I think Carter is the only realistic challenger, I think. Carter closing in on the Red Bull. See the speed on it. Oh, and Bersey's crashed out at turn 15, meaning we only have 4 cars left. To think, with a field of 8, we have 4 retirements. 4! How is that possible? Sitting behind on the pit straight, heading towards turn 1. Gap is 0.3 of a second. Does Carter go for it? No, he doesn't. He sits in behind, waits patiently. Climbing through the gears, 7th gear, through Eau Rouge. Then Radion. He's got a massive amount of overspeed compared to the Red Bull, and through he goes into 3rd place. Wingett sits back in the slipstream. There's not much he can do. Doesn't quite have the momentum to send it up the inside of turn 5. A bit of a wiggle there from Freddie as well, I think I just saw. Tell you what, we'll switch it from interval to leader. I think that'll be more useful in this scenario. So the gap between Carter and Arbar, 4.6 seconds. If that decreases to under 3, there's a chance that Carter might take the win here. At the moment, Carter's looking at a 2nd place finish as Freddie, the man on screen, has 9 seconds worth of penalties. But Freddie's still fast, and Carter, as soon as I say that, gets another penalty, increasing his tally to now 6 seconds. He needs to close into within 3 seconds of Freddie in order to try and take 2nd place away from him. Now we're on to the final lap. To think we're on the final lap. This race isn't as long as I thought it was going to be. It was actually fairly entertaining, even with a field of 8 cars. At the moment, Arbar, all he needs to do is not drive like a clown, and he's got this. Doesn't need to do anything silly. And to think, top 4 separated by a little under 7 seconds, that's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Now crept over a little over 7 seconds, but still, the principle applies. It's not like one driver just absolutely decimated the field. This has been fairly close. Say, roughly the same amount of penalties amongst everyone as well. So there is a great level of consistency amongst these 4 in particular. And Bersey wasn't too far behind, in fairness. Having an incident at turn 15. Gap closes up some more between the top two. I think Arbar will know there's no need to try and fight the man behind even if he comes close. Knowing full well that Fred has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Arbar is still looking on course for victory here. But he's got a big enough margin heading through the bus stop chicane here. He should take the victory with absolute ease. But coming up to the line, the checkered flag being waved. Arbar will take victory here at Spa. Carter will jump up to second. Really? How did he jump? Give me a minute. I'm going to have to look at the results again. Oh, of course, I had it on leader. I didn't have it on interval. So he was well close enough to take second place. That completely lapsed over my mind. I had it on leader. So it was actually Carter who would take second place. Freddie demoted to third. But Arbar taking the win here. And what was an actually pretty okay race. It wasn't immensely boring. Even with the small field, there were drivers close to one another battling for position. Had plenty of incidents, that's for sure. With only an 8-car field, that's rather astonishing. We had a massive lap 1 accident as well. That was between VTech and Kitten Petto, if I recall correctly. And then Bersey having an accident at turn 15. Oh, it was actually not as bad as I initially thought it was going to be. There we go, Arbar taking the win by 3.9 seconds over Cool Hands Carter in the Ferrari. Freddie will finish in 3rd place, but he gets fastest lap next to his name, and Wingett in 4th place for the Red Bull racing car. Bersey's classified as well, so when he had his incident, he completed enough laps, so then he was classified in the results, so he technically finishes 5th. So there we go. That wasn't too bad. I'll give it that. That wasn't too bad at all. Yes, 90%, but 90. If you complete 90% of the race, it counts. So, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. That was a rather nice way to spend a sort of midday, seeing as I had nothing else better to do. But there we go. Sort of replicated the real life scenario where McLaren led every single lap of the 2010 Belgian Grand Prix. As I mentioned earlier, it was Lewis Hamilton's first ever win in the Ardennes Forest. No, that was actually alright. It wasn't completely horrible. That was actually alright to watch. But no, just a little bit of post-season content. Not a lot, just, you know, something for the drivers to do. Bit of fun. And to explore some of the cars that we don't usually get to see in normal seasons. We tend to use only the up-to-date cars. Now, to see some of the classic cars, to hear the soundtracks again from my childhood, it's quite nice to hear. One would wonder if they would return again for F1 2021, the classic cars, or will Co-Masters even bother to implement them into the game? We'll have to wait and see when the game releases in July this year. But I think that might conclude the stream. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I've been the Smeg, and until next time, I guess it's goodbye.